I have two main goals in life right now. One is to find out whatever happened to that giant school bus-sized surveillance balloon that I thought I had securely tied up in the back. And two is to rid the world of communicating strumming patterns in downs and ups. Okay? So we're going to do 5 strumming patterns to make you a master guitar strummer, and we're going to do them in increasing difficulty. Alright? And I think you know what I mean by like, oh, what's the strumming pattern? It's just down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We're going to talk about why that's dumb, why you should stop doing that. I get that it's kind of easier in some situations, but it's all about proper counting, and we're going to start with basically what I think is the easiest, the first easiest of these 5 difficult strumming patterns, okay? So, it's going to be in 4/4 timing. It's going to be really easy. You may have heard this described as down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, but not anymore. All right, so first you need a chord that isn't in the key of C major. We're gonna do a cool chord. All right, it's gonna be this beautiful open E major 7 chord right here. Right, so it's open E, 7 with your middle finger on the A string, 6 with your pointer finger on the D string, 8 with your pinky or ring finger, I don't discriminate, either one, on the G string, and then the B string and the E string are going to be open. So it's like a big open E major 7 chord, alright? One of the reasons it sounds so good is because I'm using Elixir Strings. This video is sponsored by Elixir Strings. I did a little preview of this on my Instagram, so you may know what's coming, but yeah, basically every guitar I have is strung with Elixir Strings because they're simply the best strings of all time. I am never without my Elixir Strings, and I would never let them fly away over the Wyoming sky high above cruising altitude. So get yourself some Elixir Strings. I'll leave the link in the description. Check it out. You're going to be hearing these beautiful strings the entire video. Alright, so we got our chord. We have our timing. Now let's talk about the count. Instead of down, 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 up, down, up, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and which you may have already noticed, it's not. There's a little bit of a dynamic to it. There's a nuance to it, and that's what really makes good guitar strumming, is the nuance and understanding that even though you're within a count, there's a lot of different ways to work that count. Okay, so all the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 are going to be downstrokes, and the word "and" in between those numbers is going to be an upstroke, okay? So down and ups do matter, but it's more about the count than it is the direction, which we're going to talk about in later strumming patterns, right? But this first one, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and conceptually the easiest of the 5, but is not just about, like I said, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that 1 is going to be just the open E string by itself. That's why I chose this chord, is because the root note is just floating out there all by itself, right? Big old E string right there. 1, 2. The 2 count is going to be most of the rest of the chord. I'm aiming for like maybe the bottom, the highest 4 strings. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2. Now for the 3 and 4 end, okay? I'm splitting the chord into 2 parts, the lower 3 strings and the higher 3 strings. The 3 in the end of 3 is going to be a down up on the lower 3 strings. The 4 in the end of 4 is going to be a down up on the highest 3 strings. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 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 there's a lot of play in there. You can swing it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can even mute it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. I swear to God, if I catch you saying down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, you're getting kicked out of here. You don't deserve to have the finest Elixir strings on your guitar. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and C. 2, 3, and 4, and C. 2, 3, and 4, and C. 2, 3, and 4, and 2, to E. How good does it sound having that dynamic? C major 7. D. Again, maybe we'll add some of these in there. So again, this is just a C over G slash shape. 3, 3, 2, open, open, open. And then for the D major, 5, 5, 4, open, open, open. So it really kind of sounds cool when we split it into two parts, right? The lower 3 strings and the higher 3 strings. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and C major 7 to this cool open D shape. Alright, so that is strumming pattern number 1 out of 5. We still have 4 to go. Oh my gosh, you've learned so much already. Thank you, Elixir Strings. Also rocking the D'Angelico Tammany Excel, just in case you guys are interested. But yeah, so let's go to the second one. Alright, this is going to be a count in 6. Okay? So instead of counting 4, we're going to count 6. Easy enough, right? We're still going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. But we're going to talk a little bit about why we're counting 6 instead of maybe 3, like some people are used to, right? The strumming pattern is going to sound like this. Okay, so maybe you can already hear it. Try to diagnose the count too. Try to figure out what the count is going to sound like if I speak it just by listening to it. Okay? 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's really kind of like separating 2 3 counts and playing them one after another. In fact, it's easier for you to count 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3. That's totally fine, right? We're going to get into thinking of a compound count for the next one, but this is going to be a 6 count, right? 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. Okay, so again, that 1 is still going to be just the E string. 1, 2, and 3, and. Alright, and then still dynamically 1, 2, and 3, and. I'm still kind of getting that. The higher register, the higher string set. 2, and 3, and. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. Okay? So the second 3 count would just be low, high, high. All downstrokes because it's just 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 3, and 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 let's go to the C. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6, D. Let's dress up that second half a little more. 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5 and 6, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5 and 6, and C, 2 and 3, and 4, 5 and 6, and D, and 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5 and 6, and. When I dress it up, I'm really just doing the same 3 count again. 1, 2, and 3, and 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 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the second one. That's going to be in 6/4. Okay? All that means is there's a 6 count, and every count is like a quarter note, right? 6 over 4. Same difference as, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. Okay, 2 ways of counting essentially what becomes the same thing. Now, if you're notating it, then there is a difference between 3, 4, and 6, 4. We don't need to get into that. We just needed to get into the next strumming pattern, okay? So this is where we're going to start using what is, you could call a compound count, even though it's not a compound meter. This is going to be in 5/4, okay? Now, musicians have a ridiculously hard time counting to 5, okay? May seem like a joke, right? Drummers also have a hard time counting to 5 because we're also counting drummers as musicians for the purposes of this counting exercise, right? Counting to 5 just seems unnatural. That's why instead of counting to 5, we're going to count to 3 and then count to 2. This next strumming pattern is going to sound like this. Okay, sounds similar to the last one, but just a little shorter because it's exactly what it is. Here's number 2, right? The second one we did. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2. This is a new one. Playing 5/4, okay? Now, 5/4 is a really cool count, but it is a little trickier because a lot of times it's not something that you're used to. You really don't hear this that often, right? This is going to be really the first odd meter that we're doing. In fact, a lot of people don't consider 3/4 or a waltz an odd meter, even though it's an odd number, just because it is like the most common thing that's not in 4. But essentially what we're doing is we're counting to 3. 1, 2, and 3, and just like we did in the last count, but now we're getting a 4, 5. I'm just getting the root note and the chord, okay? So 2 downstrokes, because they're just the numbers, right? 4, 5, or 1, 2. For some reason, most people have an easier time, myself included, thinking of this as a 3 count and then a 2 count instead of 1, 5 count, but they both work, right? What I mean by that is we can count it as 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, C, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, D, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, C, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, D, 2, and 3, and 4, 5. Okay, so that's a 5/4 count. Again, there's no shame in counting it compoundly. Is that how you would say that? I don't know. Who knows? In fact, if you don't want to get flamed by people who are like jazz people who are actually able to count to 5 over and over again, you just do it in your head, right? And then they don't know that you're not counting to 5. That'll be our little secret, right? So the next one is going to be the next step up. It's going to be in 7, okay? So we're going to take that same concept that we just applied, but instead of doing 3 and 2, we're going to do 4 and 3, because we've already done a 4 count to start with, and then we did a 3 count, right? So let's combine them to make 4 plus 3. Again, even though we can't count to 5 or count to 7, we can add, right? Which still gives us a leg up on the drummers out there. So let's do something in 7/4, and let's do the 4 count first, and then the 3 count, and then we'll switch it and do the 3 count and the 4 count. So maybe you can start coming up with your own strumming patterns. All right. So we already did that. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and right. That was the first one we did, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and that's a tricky one, right? But the cool thing is, if you make a song like that, I feel like there's a natural flow that goes into that, right? And that's a great example of where you could take that count and maybe if you're thinking 4 and 3, change the chord, right? So instead of staying on this C major 7 for the whole 7, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and then let's do the opposite. Let's do 3, then 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Okay, so wow, we did a 4 count, we did a 6 count, we did a 5 count, we did a 7 count. It's weird numbering the counts that are all a different number than the number finger that I'm holding up. We did a 4, a 5, a 6. Just confused myself, but that's the beauty of doing these lessons in one take without ever stopping. Thank you, Elixir Strings, for sponsoring this lesson. Get yourself some 12s. I use the Nano Webs. I love the Nano Web 8020 bronzes. I think those have become my favorites. However, I'm going to start experimenting with 11s on a shorter scale guitar. That's for future video, all right? Now time for the most difficult one of all right? We're going to go back to a 4 count, and you're going to be like, I thought this was going to be difficult. Now we're going back to 4. I just mastered a 7 count. I'm the greatest guitar player in the high school with my fancy 7 counts and 5 counts. We're going to take one of the counts in this 4 count, we're going to take the 2, and we're going to turn it into a triplet, all right? So this is going to throw off the downs and ups, and this is where we're going to talk about how silly it is to relay down and ups to people. The strumming pattern is going to sound like this. Okay, so we've got a 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4. 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so a triplet is when you take one of those beats and you put 3 actions on it. 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4. 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4. Now triplets sound great. That's a great way to practice it, really just going like that, right? 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, down, up, 1, 2, 1, 2. The interesting thing about it is because it's an odd number, the accent or the downstroke ends up being a different direction. So I'm going, like if I'm just going 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, where that accent is always going to be that number, how we were talking, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. The triplets throw us off, right? Because a 3 count, 1, triplet, 3. Now the downbeat is going to be an upstroke. Whoa. Whoa, right? So 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4. So you have to use your timing because that 3 and that 4 kind of gets you off that autopilot mode. 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4. 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 That 3 to that 4, you're just you got to take it off autopilot. You got to turn off the parallel parking assist on your new Mazda CX-5, and you got to just do it yourself, right? So that can be tricky. If you're trying to communicate this in down and ups, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. It's what? What are you trying to tell me, bro? It's like, all right, here's the first one. Down, down, up, down, up, down. Then the second one. Down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 down. And then the triplet. Down, down, up, down, up, down. Come on, man. No, it's 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4. 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4. 1, 2 triplet. Alright, so those are 5 strumming patterns that will make you a master. But it's probably not going to sound right unless you have extra strings on your acoustic guitar. So make sure you get some of those. But yeah, in all seriousness, like learning to play and count in different time signatures and keep it going, keep it steady, keep it moving is so invaluable and something that you're going to want to spend time on. So again, start with 4, but do it dynamically. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then work your way up into 6. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. Get to 5. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5. Make it 7. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4, 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4, 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4. And this is something you can absolutely practice when you're not playing a guitar. 1, 2, 3, 4, or diagnosing a count of something that you're hearing. The stuff that you could just use in your brain, and once you have it in your mind, it'll get to your hands a lot quicker than you think it will. So thank you to Elixir for sponsoring this video. Thank you for watching it, and like I said, if you have any questions or comments, send me in the comment section, Instagram, or the website. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot.